Bonjour! This is the last recording in the series of recordings on asking for opinions, complimenting, and criticizing others' clothing. Obviously, today is all going to be about criticizing other people's clothing, so let's go ahead and get started. To criticize someone's clothing, we only have a couple things, and all of the things that we've talked about are things that we've seen before and we've used before. So again, the best way to use these recordings is to go ahead and repeat after me as many times as you can, listen as many times as you can, practice, go back and quiz yourself. At the end of the chapter, you know that the test is going to be a speaking exam. So this will be very beneficial to you. They will be up. You can watch them as many times, whenever, wherever. So let's go to the first one here. If you remember yesterday when we were complimenting people's clothing, we talked about the difference between il and elle here. We know that il is going to be used for masculine clothing and elle for feminine clothing. Again, we also have the te and the vous. The difference between te and vous, remember, is that the te, which is this one here, the te is going to be used for one person that we know very well, and the vous is going to be used for either more than one person or someone that we don't know very well. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. Répétez. Il ne te va pas du tout. Il ne te va pas du tout. Il ne te va pas du tout. We can also use it with vous. Il ne vous pas du tout. Il ne vous va pas du tout. Il ne vous va pas du tout. This one's kind of a tricky one. It's a tongue twister, but if you practice it enough, you will be able to get it. All this means is that doesn't look good on you at all. It is just not working. Il ne te va pas du tout, or elle ne vous va pas du tout. Just depending. Remember, again, we use il for masculine clothing and elle for feminine clothing. So let's go down here. We have il and elle again. We'll just use il. Répétez. Il ne va pas du tout avec. Il ne va pas du tout avec. Il ne va pas du tout avec. And again, we've seen this before. This is just going to be the negative, and this just doesn't go at all with whatever. Again, we have our ellipsis dot, so we know we have to add the piece of clothing here. The last one we have here, just like it was yesterday, this is just like the beginning of the sentence, and we'll just add some things to the end here. So we have, répétez, je le trouve, je la trouve, je les trouve. And again, le is for masculine clothing, la is for feminine clothing, and les is for plural clothing. Our clothing will go, obviously, at the end here after our dot. So, if we want to. We don't need it. We will definitely need how we find the piece of clothing. So we could say, je le trouve moche, je le trouve démodé, je le trouve horrible. So moche we have is ugly or tacky. We think it's démodé, which is out of style, and horrible, which is just terrible or horrible. I think it's just hideous. Okay? And the je le la les trouve, you can find that in yesterday's recording. Okay, so if you're unsure, you might want to go back and check that out. Right. So again, we're using belt, which is feminine. It's only one thing, so it'll be LA, and we're going to say it's too tight. So since it's a feminine word, we definitely know we need the E. We have to add that extra E if it's feminine. Now let's say that all the belts are too tight. You have like 10 belts at home and they're all too tight. We're going to change it to elles sont, they are, trop serré, with the E and the S. So we just have to make sure it matches what we're talking about. One thing, many things. So let's move on to the pratiquer page, which you've already seen a couple times. So pratiquer. Look at the picture over here and to give either a compliment or a criticism based on the clothing. And if I were you, I'd pause the video. You can obviously go back in the video. You can bring up the other videos, but go ahead and practice this. Compliment it or criticize it. Okay, here's our second practique. Before we get to it, I just want to make you aware of your mot mystère. So your mot mystère is right here on the slide, right under here. And all it is parc, P-A-R-C, parc. Okay? And again, just look at the picture here to the right and either give a compliment or criticism based on the clothing. Last one, your practique. Look at the picture here and give a compliment or criticism based on the clothing. So by now you should be pretty good with the compliments and the criticisms. I hope that you tried to do a few different ones and not the same ones that you had a chance to practice. But please stop the video when you're done, restart it, practice it again, practice your speaking, practice your pronunciation, quiz yourself so you know what they mean. If you have not watched the other two videos, make sure that you do that and be ready to use this information tomorrow in class.